Hey guys, it's JQ Crafty. Welcome to another Product Focus Friday Spring Cleaning Edition. We are dusting off this Sassafras mini collection from the scrap room. And now this is from, Sassafras hasn't been around for a while. This has got to be from 2013, 2011, somewhere in there. But this is called the Cherry Delicious is the collection. This paper is Sapphire, which is this gorgeous blue. This one is Winsome. Okay. Yeah. And then this one's like a cut apart sheet, it looks like. Or like, it's called Penelope. This side is really fun as well. And then this is stickers from it. They're all border stickers and some tiny little alphas, which is awesome. These are in a crazy awesome yellow color. I had this old picture of my mom and her sisters all breaking out their reading glasses to read a menu when we went to Chicago. It was really funny at the time because they all did it at like the same time and didn't even like skip a beat. And we were making fun of them, and now I also have to use reading glasses if I have really tiny print. Not very often though. I'm doing pretty good. I don't really need it that often, so I wouldn't say I need it very often, but super tiny print, I definitely can't see anymore, and I need the reading glasses for that. But other than that, I'm good. So we're going to do another basic design. But yeah, so let's get started. So I didn't speed up this process as fast as I usually do, just because it didn't take me very long, and it was relatively simple, but it turns out very impactful and very like whimsical in color. That's all I'm gonna say. So right away, I really wanted to do another like 2/3 type design, except for we're gonna turn it. And see, so far we have done this will be the third different kind of doing like a 2/3 of the page type design. So the one was like focusing on the left hand side, and the other one was putting the 2/3 more in the center. And then now this is turning it and making it a horizontally divided page. But I really liked the look of this pink stripe, and then like the corners with the rounded corners and the border. It just was really fun. And then all these papers have these crazy fun border strips, or like the like manufacturer strips that look like little borders or banners, like doily lace or something. So I trimmed them off, all of them, and I'm going to layer them up here on the bottom of that top strip, and we're just going to have some white space on the bottom. Now, while I was doing this part, I didn't really know what else I wanted to do. I know I wanted that. That's pretty much it. And from there we just kind of wing it. But I like the way it turns out. So I'm gluing these down just kind of carefully, but just making sure they overlap just enough that you can see everything, but not overlap too much that you can't see like all the details of every single strip. So I'm just being really careful when I layer them up. And this is like a textured cardstock. It has like stripes textured in it, not just like full out textured. It has like lines textured in it. It reminds me of like mini shiplap. That's what it kind of reminds me of. I did take actually one of them. I really liked the way it looked. I took one of them and made a page in my 52 favorites album for this year. Did that while kind of right after I did this, because I really liked the feel of that cardstock. I think it's a basil. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the back. But yeah, just adhering those strips down. This part was a little slower. And then I'm going through all the edges of them and ruffling them up, just to give them some texture. And now, like I said, my photo is really dark, so I really want to bring some kind of like lighter elements around it is my kind of goal, to really like bring some focus to it. I did already trim it down. It was 4x6, but there was a lot of, it was from my little rip apart books that I used to get all the time from my digital prints. And So I trimmed off kind of the rough edges, and there's a lot of not needed stuff. And since it's so dark, I wanted to kind of make it small. But so I want to play with these border strips. They're all like banners, actually. And this square one, first of all, it was very odd to me, a square banner. Even though, I'm sure I would use it somewhere. But I decided to just create kind of like a pattern on the bottom. So I'm taking the square banner and putting it upside down, and then this backside of this other paper is all border strips basically, that you can cut apart. So I just cut one of the ones on the end that was simple, and I'm going to glue that down. So that'll just create some interest at the bottom, so it's not completely just all white space down there. And I like it. It's simple. It's just to add some color down. They'll bring some of the colors from the top down to the bottom. And now I'm going to mat the photo on the A and B side of this paper because I really like this blue and I really like the pops of blue. But there's so many different colors in those little border strips that I put down with the ruffles. There's like pinks, there's purple, there's turquoise. And so I didn't want to make this a red, white, and pinky blue page. I didn't want to make it... and so I want to pull in some of those colors, but I'm not really sure how because this page kit really didn't have a lot of embellishments with it. So I'm kind of excited. So I'm realizing that right now as I'm putting this down, I'm like, well, there's not really much to play with. And so then I'm like, well, I'm just going to use some fun stuff from my stash. So that sounds great. So I mat that photo twice, liking the way that looks. I thought about popping it on foam, but then when I start getting my embellishments out, I decide that I don't need to because I'm going to have a lot of other dimension anyway. So I was sitting there realizing, oh, these lines will be perfect. I'm just going to put the title right there next to the picture. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do. So I know I just did this Colorcast design haul. So I'm like, okay, what do I got from them that I got use? Not that I have to use up, but I just keep collecting all this amazing Colorcast Designs product, and I'm not using it. So I start breaking that out, and then I go through my basket over here that has more because my other basket is too full. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I have all this amazing stuff from Shadney. Oh, I have all these layerable, like multi-layer floral wood veneer pieces that she gave me, or that I got from her. Not that she gave me, that I got from her. So I decide I'm going to put the Colorcast Design stuff away, and I'm going to grab, and don't worry, I will use my Colorcast Design stuff. I have started to do a few more layouts with some of that stuff, so do not fret. I will use it. But I grab out some of the doilies from Shadney because I thought it would kind of go because some of the ruffles look like doilies, and it all has like this hand-stitched look to it. And then I'm going to grab... so I grab the doilies and I have the wood veneer flowers. And I'm liking the look of a couple of them layered up in the corner there. And then doing some down in the bottom. And just bringing a bunch of the colors that are kind of everywhere out. I did grab an orange doily. That orange in the one strip is not super orange, but it's enough that it kind of brings it together and brings then the yellowish color of the title. Doesn't make it look awkward in a way. And then the two different blues, because there are like 4 different blues on this page right now. But I'm just going to start putting together all the wood veneer flowers how I like them. I'm going to layer them up. Some of them I do 2 layers, some I do 3. And I'm just doing random. And I think that looks better than trying to match or make them look a certain way. I think it's super fun to do them kind of randomly. So I'm just layering those all up and I'm loving that. And then I'm going to start kind of placing them around the page. And I ended up, first I made 8 and I was like, oh, that's not going to work. I'm someone who definitely like believes in the odd numbers are pleasing to the eye. Asymmetry is, and it is. Odd numbers are definitely more pleasing. And especially when you have big elements like this, I'm not going to want just 2 random flowers. It depends on how the design is. Sometimes it could work. But the way I was going to do it, it wasn't. And now as I'm spreading these out, I do kind of like the way it looks after I move them and I have them all just kind of flowing down the page. It looks nice, but I end up leaving kind of a gap, and I'm fine with the gap as well. But it looks better now seeing it from above. than I thought it did. But I'm doing like a cluster kind of above the photo, below the photo, and then down by the doilies. And I'm really liking the look of that. So I'm going to start gluing them all together and gluing everything down the way it is. And there I'm showing you Shadneys. I did not expect to use all of these in one shot, but I did. So I'm going to start gluing all these down, and I'm not going to show you me doing that just because it's painful. So I glued them all together. I'm going to trim off, and I glued everything else down as well, trim off the excess of that. And I love the way that looks. And I'm like, okay, but now I'm missing something. I need something yet. What do I need? And I look to my left, and there are these like gemstone enamel dots. I got them in a Paper Issues kit. They were with like a lot of I want to say I think they're Prima. I'm pretty sure they're Prima. They're gems, but they're like matte, and they're just shiny. They're not like super shiny, but they look like gems. And the darker turquoise is like the exact turquoise in a lot of the turquoise-ness in here. So then I'm bringing some of that turquoise throughout the page instead of it being just in 2 random strips. And then after I do that, I'm going to do my title, which is Break Out the Cheaters with an exclamation point, and I'm going to journal right below that. Nice thing about the lines is it's relatively straight, even though I put it wonky, but I kind of did a wonky on purpose. And then the lines, I can line it up, which is great. And then I will journal off camera too, right below that. You'll see that in the close-ups. And then I decided I need something else. So I'm seeing what colors what other colors are kind of in some of the papers that are not spread out and not represented. I mean, there's some purple. There's some purple stitching in those border strips as well. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep going. We've got crazy color combos going on here. I'm going to pull in some purple. And I happen to have some vintage Nouveau drops sitting next to me. In what color are these in? I can never find. Purple basil. I love this color. But they dry matte. And so then I'm going to sprinkle those just kind of everywhere, in amongst the flowers, some of them in centers of the flowers. Just put them all over the place. And there you have it. Thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you check out Jennifer Kane on Instagram. She is playing along today. And yeah, I appreciate you all. We'll see you next Friday. Bye.